Well, well, well. Look who's back for another thrilling episode of Crime Chronicles. I hope your family is doing great, taking care of each other, and most importantly, not plotting each other's murder. Speaking of which, before we dive into today's crime story, let's take a quick detour into some shocking statistics that might make you rethink that wedding proposal sitting in your drafts. So, here's the deal. Lately, if you've been paying attention to the news or just have a thing for crime thrillers, you might have noticed an unsettling pattern. Spouses are going full on till death do us part, but in the most literal sense. Husbands killing wives, wives killing husbands. It's practically turning into a marital tradition. Naturally, I got curious. What do the numbers say about this? According to the National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, India saw nearly 28,500 murders in 2023. Now, the top two motives? Classic reasons like personal rivalries and disputes. But coming in at a solid third and fourth place, romantic relationships gone terribly, terribly wrong. Love affairs and post-marital conflicts contributed to over 4,000 murders. Yup, love is literally killing people out here. Meanwhile, the UN's global study reveals that every 11 minutes, a woman is murdered somewhere in the world, 60% of the time by her partner or family member. In India alone, reports suggest that in 2023, 270 husbands were killed by their wives, while 220 wives met their end at the hands of their beloved husbands. Love. Now that we've established that romance can be deadly, let's talk about today's case, one that's straight out of a twisted crime novel. Our protagonist? Meet Raghav Sharma, once an MBA graduate, now a temple priest. Quite the career shift, right? He was married, had 2 kids, and then, surprise, surprise, fell in love. Unfortunately, love wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. It became his worst nightmare. Raghav found himself entangled with Meera, a woman with a complicated past. She was his niece by relation, but let's not get into the weirdness of that. Their affair lasted a while, but when Meera started pushing for marriage, Raghav realized he was in over his head. Rather than opting for the simple break up and move on strategy, our genius here decided that murder was the best solution. Google searches didn't quite give him the results he was looking for. Thankfully, Google still doesn't have a best ways to get away with murder guide. So, in frustration, he took matters into his own hands. One evening, he picked up Meera for a drive. Only, instead of dropping her home, he took her to an isolated area, bashed her head in with a rock, and then stashed her body in a manhole near his temple. Thinking he was the Einstein of crime, he even went to the police station to file a missing persons report to cover his tracks. What a mastermind, or so he thought. Unfortunately for Raghav, the Hyderabad police weren't born yesterday. CCTV footage showed inconsistencies in his story. The cameras caught him picking Meera up, but the spot where he claimed to have dropped her, no footage of his car entering or exiting. Whoops. When questioned again, his version of events started changing like a badly rehearsed script. And just like that, after a little pressure from the cops, he cracked faster than a cheap smartphone screen. He led them straight to the manhole where he had buried Meera. And now, in a surprisingly quick trial, for once, the court handed Raghav a life sentence, as in, enjoy jail until you stop breathing, kind of life sentence. Maybe he should have stuck to being a priest, huh? Alright, that's today's crime story. Hope you all have a fabulous day. And if you're married, maybe double check your spouse's Google search history, just in case. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and for heaven's sake, if your relationship is not working out, just break up. Murder is way too much work.